Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well this evening. We're once again in the middle of our gas city. We're trying to kind of get off the ground our prototype puzzle factory, and we've got kind of two threads going, I think, when we last left off. We were working a prototype through a sort of entire company workflow, if you want. So one that would kick off individual agents to take each other's work product and kind of shepherd them through a sort of invention and quality check pipeline. And after that all happens, at the end of that, we should have a new puzzle game. That's kind of the idea. And the other thread that we're doing is we're trying to figure out the factoring of the company by doing communication style pack, where there's one concierge that sort of acts as the yellow pages and knows who to call for a certain kind of problem. And then we'd like them to route traffic to the right worker. And then the worker is going to decide whether they accept that judgment or not. And so I think we're in the middle of both of those. We left the mayor kind of doing business when yesterday. So we had some quality checking going on some of our catalog. We added like hundreds of entries. We're getting ready to add hundreds of entries into our game catalog, um, with the impact that by the end of that, we should have a really good grasp of like what mathematical formalisms and what mechanics are being used across all these different kinds of puzzles. We should be able to easily look for whether one of our ideas matches what's already there. And we should be able to sort of mix and match those parts. And hopefully, we'll get some more creative puzzle ideas out of that. All right, well, let's see how the mayor did. Okay, so we got to right here. There's an inventor revision. And this is sort of when the analyst, who is our solver, takes a puzzle idea, it tries to make a solver for it, and then it kicks it back to the inventor for more revisions, sort of an update of the spec for the puzzle. Hey, I guess, yes. So it didn't do so much work in the night as one would hope. You know, uh, I'm not supposed to be that. There's that Simpsons episode, right, where Homer delegates his at-home job to the little dippy bird that presses Y over and over again. That's not fit work for a human. All right, cool. Okay, so while it's on its merry way, we're always asking, what can we be working on next? Whether that be our sort of practical project or our meta project. I mean, the goal of all of this, right, is to take this software for a spin, to use an agent orchestrator to actually get stuff done. Because that's the kind of project that someone could pay for. That's the kind of sort of significant work that is worth spending your time on at some level. Now, like making puzzle games is not gonna like, you know, heal the world's ills, obviously, but it is a sort of contained domain in some ways where we can actually, a single person like me might be able to judge the work output. Okay. Contest is moderately long, natural break. That's fine. All right. Let's um let's do that. We didn't go through and look for new versions of stuff. The latest and greatest software. It looks like yeah, Gas City PAX is not quite there yet. But there is some messages about it today in the Discord. Um, I guess we could check in on that, see if anybody answered our issue. Yeah, so far it's not there. Yeah, so there's a message from maybe like 2 hours ago. Note that while Gas City PAX has a copy of the example Gastown pack from Gas City, it is already falling behind. There's a regularly updated one that's in the Gastown Hall Gas City tree example, pack example, and then there's a stale one inside of the Gas City packs repository. And that's sort of weird. And there's another response from that. It looks like we're moving toward an update to how packs work, a pack registry type of thing. From the roadmap, a pack registry for discovery and sharing. So it's nice that we are sort of right on the cusp of that. Um, in a sense, like some of our feedback is kind of catching up with the project, which is really great. That's not a thing that I knew was going to happen. It's not super obvious that, you know, when a project is moving so fast like this one, where like lots of people are pointing lots of Claude and making lots of revisions every day, fixing bugs, this and that, you could kind of despair, like, am I ever going to be able to contribute to this project? It's just kind of, I'm falling behind. And we hear some anecdotal stories, right? Like Steve Yagi in his blog talked about some of his friends that are, they're not just token maxing, right? They're being productive, but they're going so fast that, if you're an hour behind, then you sort of totally lost the plot. And they're telling tales of like, yeah, they're just making moving by leaps and bounds, and if you're not really dialed into that, then you're not going to understand what's been going on. All right, it's archiving old mail. That's fine. It's just going to send the handoff. So I can never tell. It would be nice if I could just get context into the line, I think, into the status line somewhere. Um, Maybe that is like something from the Gastown pack that we haven't picked up yet. Although it sounds like we've been avoiding certain like performance issues. There's like a bug fix in these same messages about the Gastown pack and Gas City packs. It's talking about how there's an inefficiency in the Gas City status line. But yeah, for my provider, I'm most concerned about like when do I need to hit handoff, and it's possible that we could just have the Claude session introspecting on that all the time, but it is kind of weird, right? Like maybe once an hour or something like that. Um, Let me try and explain why, right? Like if you're constantly spending effort going, am I tired? Am I tired? Am I tired? You're wasting effort, right? Um, and you're not kind of learning anything. We were talking about this yesterday in chat, how our models don't have sense data. They don't have ground truth. They don't feel tired because they're not taking a lot of telemetry on themselves as they go. So they're not noticing things like, oh yeah, there's been like several hours in between, prompts on your turn, and I should infer certain things from that, like nobody was reading anything that I had to say. Another one that isn't super obvious is like, this person has me in scrollback buffer. So any update that I made after such and so time, is not being read. Did we have a current puzzle on Krita? We were enjoying Kuroshiro. I thought this was a lot of fun at the end of the day. Sucker for Slitherlinks, but the kinds of inferences that we got to make about needing to turn or needing to stay going in the straight direction, that was fun, I thought. All right, so while we're waiting for our mayor to bounce, basically, uh, what's after Kuroshiro? Kuroshito. There's a no Kuroshuto. Kuroshuto. Blacken some cells. Cells with numbers are not blackened. Black cells must not be orthogonally adjacent. So far, so familiar. Starting a cell with a number n, exactly one of the cells with distance n must be blackened. That's different. Oh, okay. That's interesting. And all white cells must form an orthogonally connected area. All right. So it's familiar to some of our stuff, um, but it provides some twists on rules that we're sort of familiar with. So these numbers aren't about how far you can see, but that there should be, yeah, counting, not counting the current one, um, a cell that's n away must be blackened, but exactly one. Okay. And so we'll probably have to use all parts of the rule to kind of figure it out. So here's the first easy one. This number of cell can't be blackened, and there's got to be one exactly one away up here. It's going to be this one. Oh, it's all right. It's still waking up, kind of. Same for this one. There's got to be one away. And now we've got this square. We can look at this one and say there can't be two that are exactly one away that are blackened. We need one that's exactly three away to be blackened here, and it's going to be this one or this one, indeterminate. For this 5, this one or this one, indeterminate. This 4, though, got to be this one. There isn't another option over here, or this way or up. This 5 now has the one that's 5 away from it blackened. So this one is not blackened because there would not be exactly one. All the white needs to form an area. This 2 we can't decide yet. This 3 we can decide. It's right here. This 1 we can't decide, but this 2 we have 3 options, but 2 of them are numbers. Now this 1, 2 options for this 2 here in the corner. I guess we could kind of, if we care, we can kind of pay attention to the fact that we've already consumed these clues. It's not usually going to make a difference, but occasionally you might notice something and say, no, I don't really need to be looking at this. I've already finished it. 7 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. There you go. This one 3 away. This has been used. All right. I think now that we have that nomenclature, will be, or that convention, those will probably go a little bit faster. Cool. At some point, I figured we'd probably get away from all of the easy, obvious ones and we get into stuff that's more complex. That's kind of cool. 3. Nope. We can't tell. It's one of these two, but not both. I wonder if there is something about having two of the same number diagonally opposite from each other. Like they both share certain numbers or hmm. This one would take out this 2. This 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. So it would be this one and this one. Or over here. 5, it's got to be this one or this one. If it were this one, it would not be this one. Oh, did I not do this 4? 4 away. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Because of this 1, we know it's going to be here or here. So we can start doing things like if it's this one, then that matches this 4, and so this one is empty. If it's this one, then that doesn't match this 4, so this one is also blackened. And sometimes that'll make like a difference. All right, how's the mirror doing? Cool. It's doing task tracking. Dislike, we're trying to pull Claude into the mayor prompt that says all the work is tracked in beads. And so okay. Alrighty. Talk to me about the status of our refactor epic. To turn departments and dispatching into a pack. Or one of the other topics in that epic. All right. This one or this one? It doesn't seem like they're related. This is a funny thing about some of these puzzles that you have to figure out which clues are related to each other. This was a challenge in one of the Minesweeper variants as well. The night one in particular, where you're like, Are these clues linked to each other? You know, that's kind of what's happening right now. If I color in one of these squares next to these ones, then all the other ones around them are going to be blank. Oh, I think this might be an inference we can work with. If, okay, so here, follow me carefully. If we color in this one as black, then this 2 is going to be consumed by that, and this will be empty. But this 1 is also going to be consumed, it'll also be empty. But those are the 2 remaining things for this 3. So this one cannot be black. That's the last option for this 2, so this one has to be, I say black, but it's red, and shaded in is the real term here. And then we've got this 3 getting used. And there we go. We've got this 2, it's been done. We've got this 1 now. This is the last option for that particular one. We've got here, and that finishes off this 3 right here. There we go. That here, we'll finish off this 1 right here. That finishes off this 2 over here. Is this the chain reaction that finished the puzzle? Maybe so. We cannot fill in this one because it would isolate this white from the rest of the puzzle. Go. Okay, the only other choice for this 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we haven't taken care of this one yet. Ah, this one is done though. Donezo. This 4 is taken care of now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not used, so this one has to be used. This one can't be used, and that takes care of this one right here. I don't know if we have to keep sort of dotting all of our clues now. It was kind of helping, I think. We're getting down to the wire. What clue cares about this? Well, we cannot isolate this white from the rest of the white. And then how about this one? This 2 has to be filled in. And there we go. We haven't clicked on every dot, but we've marked every single square. So we're done. Not a bad puzzle. I like especially the sort of relatedness. Like figuring out this 3 was pretty fun. This 3 from this 1, it's a kind of counterintuitive thing. This 1 and this 2. All right. Okay. Reversibility is done. Okay. I think this is done because I moved them out. I think it's closed as overtaken. We have the sort of rig plus pack thing going on here. Can't do it. I think certain kinds of aliasing would also take care of this, right? Like we should be able to like type def this kind of stuff away. We're tracking upstream stuff. We haven't done the work tree stuff here. This is kind of coming with the pack registry stuff, if we believe the scuttlebutt in the Discord. That says it's gated here. Um, yeah, it's frustrating that we haven't sort of factored this into all of our departments. It's a little frustrating that we haven't got template fragments in here. Yeah, I definitely think we can we can close this one. Won't do over taken by events. We can open a new bead to suggest aliasing or type def style. Usage of potentially cumbersome rig plus pack naming. Shortening. In my view, that would turn into an issue in Gas City. The new bead could ask to look at the current closed Gas City issues to see if this has been suggested. Gas City issues. Oops. Accidentally hit the keystroke for console instead of copy. Okay. The cold start workaround is now part of the prototype puzzle run book. I think the I'm still not sure if we're going to have this issue if we adopt some conventions from the gas tank pack. Nope. I was informed that version of the Gastown pack at this URL is updated more frequently than the version in Gas City packs. Updated this, stale. That. My advice is to hold off on this cold start workaround till we see movement on the issues. Linked issues. We could periodically update our bead with any news from them. Check messages, since check messages on the issue since it was last accessed. Store the last access date on the bead. Okay. TOHWDR 15.3. A workaround we could use is to own our versions of these packs and import them using local paths. At some point in the future, when there is a reliable pack repository registry artifact store, we could replace these our versions with the canonical ones. Again, we could write ourselves a note to check on this periodically. We would have to use, as far as I know, the only versions of Flywheel we have are in the MIT history of Gas City packs. So we might want to copy from that point. I did not look at the license on Gas City packs. Not that we're necessarily intending to distribute our versions, but it would just be nice to be above board and following the intentions of the publishers. I would think that it would make the most sense for each pack to be licensed and maintain its own license. But if you have permission to write this repository, then you can go and change the license. Well, here's one. Here's an MIT license. Copyright Steve Iggy. I don't know if that's correct. Did Steve make this? I do not know. All right. Yeah, but we could assume that that's how it's supposed to be and what's going to happen in the future. You can see here there is no such. Um, Seems important. All right. Mm, all right. I think that covers us. Maybe that's something we could put in lieu of the license file. The provenance of the code by git of repo and hash. Path and commit hash. All right. I think we've answered most of the questions. Could file lessons learned. The magic word. Lessons learned from the and it's also doing it. Workflow as formula. It's going to get confused if I don't use the precise vocabulary. Runs to completion. Presumably, we can spelunk the beads, related beads, or notes. All right. And hopefully that covers it. Prosciutto, shuto, prosciutto. You think it's saying shoot? Black shoot? Crotto. Ah, okay. I did see this one is somewhat similar to one of the Minesweeper variants, I think. Um we're being asked, like, look at all of the regions that are orthogonally adjacent to a number and how far they go. So we can make big groups of black cells, and we count their size as if they were one big thing. Um, and so instead of saying there is a black cell to the right of this thing, we say the sum of all of the groups around this 3, north, east, west, and south, is 3 because there is a group to the east that is 3 in size. This one is 6 because there's a group to the west that is 4 in size and a group to the east that is 2 in size, and none north and south. All right. Okay, this one on the corner is really simple. There is a group by this one that is 1 in size. It's only one place to put it. And if it were bigger, if this grew at all, then this would be 2 in size, and that would be too big for this one. We have nowhere else to put this 2. We've got 1 here, and then we have to keep extending this up to 2. And it's got to stop there. This one also has 2. Okay, and so it's satisfied sort of vacuously, like it happened at the same time. Or you could say when this one was done, we marked off all of these. It was done. All right, how are we doing here? Okay, I have what I need. Okay. New type def bead. Old for upstream. So it's still working through its ideas here. Okay. Yeah, it would really suck if we had to import our own copies of the Gastown pack and keep it updated. Great. Okay. This one is at most 1. Here we've got a 2 in the corner. We've got to have this one. It's ambiguous whether we have this one or this one, but we definitely can't have this one because that will, no matter which way we choose, that would turn this into a 3. We're gonna have either this one. Well, we can't have this one now actually because if we completed this one, that would turn this into a 2, which is great for this one in the corner, but it's too much for this 1. I keep saying this 1, and that's it's gonna be a little bit hard to keep up with. All right. So we definitely need to have a cell for the 1 target right here. We've completed this 1 target. We happen to know that this is shared between these two, the 2 and the 4, and it's got to be 2. That means we need to get 2 out of the east. This. We definitely got to go this way. Now we can't go this way because number 1, it would make these 2 groups that need to be distinct and both need to add up to the 4. it would make them like bleed into each other. And second, it would make this 2 region too big for this 2 target right here. This 2 target right here has been satisfied. And then we need to finish off this 4 target. There's only one place for this square to go. Can't grow anymore. This 2 target right here has been satisfied. This 3 target has to go, has to start somewhere, has to start in the only space left. It can't go up because it would interfere with this 1 target. So we've got to go down for 2. And there's nowhere else to go for 3. This 3 region can't grow. Yep. We need to have this 3 region. This 3 target needs its own 3 region. There's exactly 3 squares to do it in. We don't seem to have that rule about making sure that all of the white squares are exposed, because here we've blocked one in. And I don't think there were any choices about doing that. The 6 target, we have to start growing this way. 6, 3, 4, 5. We don't know which one of these we're going to choose. We can't choose this one to the right, though, because that would put 4 on this 2 target. We need 1 and 1 for this 2 target, both of them. Kind of saturated the possibilities there if you want. We need 3 on this, but we need exactly 1 over here. So that implies that we need to get, we've only got 4 squares left. This one we can have at most one of them, and so we need both of these. For the 3, we can't connect up this to this 1, and there's our last one. All right. That's a fun one. I think it didn't feel very difficult as long as we had our starting clues, but I suppose there's a possibility that we would get stuck in situations where we would try a hypothesis and it stuff wouldn't fit, that kind of thing. So it could get more complicated for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, we did our bead actions, landed them. Yep. Yeah. We should patch the formula and the stored. And the instance where it was stored incorrectly. It's good to have a clean example. Once that's done, we can move forward. Understood about namespace issues with picking the same name for 2 different prototype runs. Maybe it's important to include the overall formula, the prototype formula bead ID, or some other unique identifier. Um, we can also consider whether the directory structure, where many rig subdirectories share the same name for a subdirectory. Like loop touches every cell. Alternatively, it might make more sense for each prototype to have a directory, a subdirectory, to live in prototypes, have a subdirectory like IDX, and have subdirectories like prototypes IDX slash, and here I'm going to want to pick the right example. So you see how we've got designs, we've got puzzles, we've got reviews, we've got solver. So that each of the prototypes has all of its artifacts together in one directory structure. Um, is all right. This could be a new bead. We would probably have to rewrite some formulas. All right. Though this has been bugging me for a little bit. Not that it's like a huge issue. Obviously, it's been working around us. All right. Cool. Okay. So we finished Kuroto. Oh, this is no. It does have two names. Is this late summer? Suman? I don't know. Latinish Suman, I guess. Kakuru. Enter a number from the range 1 to n in each white cell, N is the number of cells in a row or column. A number in a black cell indicates the sum of the numbers in the 8 adjacent white cells. Each number must occur exactly once in each row and column. Ah, I see. So this has 5 blanks in each row and column, and we need the numbers 1 to 5. And we're going to sum all of the white cells in the 8 neighborhood. Okay. It's a sort of kakuro, like, it's kind of like a cross between kakuro and Sudoku, you could say. All right. It's interesting that's not alphabetized correctly, but it's because it's you know, it's been filed under the German name, I guess. Okay. It's still working on the formula patch, so all right. And it's working on some feeds internals there. Okay, so we get the numbers 1 through 5 to play with, and we can only use one once in each white cell row and column. What we're usually looking for in this is sort of like extremes, like a large number of cells makes a low number, something like that. So, for instance, here in 9, um, 1, 2, 3, and 3, it's got to be kind of that nature. It's got to be fairly low in these 4. Or these 9, we've got a 5 and a 4 required. This is actually pretty good. Oh, and because these add to 9, this one has to be a 2. Because 2 plus whatever this 9 makes is 11 right here. Pretty much done with that clue. It's like we almost know how much these 3 numbers are supposed to add up to. They're all linked, right? The 8 neighborhood thing is interesting. In Kakuro, we can know certain things about, for instance, we're going to have, we would have like a row or a column sum of 9, and we'd know no numbers can repeat within that, and that limits the possibilities of which ones we can pick. But here, we can go as high as 5, 1, 2, 1. That would be totally legal. That would require us to get 15 out of here, here, and here, which is not. Um, but you kind of get the idea. This part is 6 and it's shared with this 20. These 4 numbers have to add up to 14. Another kind of interesting way to look at these is every row and column has to add up to 15, 1 through 5. So that means that 3 columns together have to add up to 45. And so since we see a 17 right here, and we see a 20 down here, we've got this number and 3 more numbers. They have to add up to 8. There really aren't too many ways to do that. In fact, I would say that it's impossible that one of these would be a 5 because the lowest 3 numbers that we can get here out of these 3 would be 5, 1, and a 2 because we can't repeat numbers, right? So it'd be 8. And then no matter what number this is, it would be too high for all of the rest of the numbers in the 3 columns to contain. So it can't be a 5. We can have a 4, barely, but we've got to have a 1 here And that means a 2 or a 4 here, and a 1 in one of these. One of these numbers has to be a 5 for sure. The lowest we can get here is 6. So the highest, so we've already got 37 accounted for. The lowest we can get is 43. So we can get a 2 here, a 1 or a 2. Let's see if we can pull that analysis on any other of these rows and columns. We've got 18 and 18 here. That's 36. This is 38. So this has to be 7. And that's actually kind of a special number for this row here, which it can only be made with the numbers 1 through 5 by one combination of numbers, 1, 2, and 4. Can't copy the 2 in this column. 1, 2, 4. Oh, I should here, we should take down the size of this quite a bit. Where did my cursor go? It's so small you can't even see it. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. And now we've kind of got a range on this between 3 and 6. So the sum of these two numbers is between 3 and 6. The sum of these two numbers over here have to be 35. These two, which we already know, right, that these have to be 6 or 7, right? And then there's this one right here. They all have to add up to 16. So we've got 8 accounted for. We've got somewhere in the neighborhood of, say 3 to 6. And then we've got this one. Here's another place we can play that trick. 17, 20 makes 37. So these remaining 3 right here have to add up to 8 to make 45. If these have to add up to 8, then these have to sum to 7 right here. That means that, and we know that these have to sum to 9. We know that the remaining 3 here have to sum to 15. So this is like less than 8. Though it started more profound than it turned out to be. Here, let's try that again. These sum to 8, so this has to be 7. We'll hold that thought. Okay, let's see. Commit the workflow fixes. This is the patch. Advance the workflow. Okay, naming artifact concerns are filed. We don't want to block the current run or rewrite all of the artifacts out from under the workflow formula. I really gotta fix this nomenclature. I really don't like that they took it. It's a very important word. It means directed acyclic task graph. I don't want to use that forward thing all day. Hydrate reminder. We're about an hour into the stream, and I'm not going to try and stay up too much later. Maybe 40 minutes. Okay. We're now simplifier pending. We fired our naming, artifact concerns. Okay, cool. I think one is tempted to say too that there really aren't that many different possible combinations in here, and we should just try to slam them as fast as we can. This 6, it can be 3 and 3, it can be 1 and 5, or it can be 4 and 2. This 14 out of 4, so it can be 5, 4, 3, and 2. It's sort of as low as this fourth one could be. It could be 5, 4, 2, and 3. 5, 4, 1, and 4. 5, 3, 1, and 5. Oh, the same trick that we've been playing with the columns. We could also be playing with the rows, right? This is 18 and this is 17. So that makes 35. And these ones right here, I'll have to add up to 10. And these add up to 12, which makes 22. So we've got 10 and 22. 12 makes 22. And these two columns add up to 30, right? So these add up to 8. And this right here, and this add up to 8. And they actually trade off with each other, right? Like if this is 3, then this is 5. And if this is 3, then this is 5. And we've got a 3 and a 1 right here to add to 6. Cool, that's very useful. Then we've got either 1, 3, and 4 right here, or 1, 4, and 5. So this is 8 or 10. That makes these either 3 or 5 together. And that lines up neatly with our other 9, 3, 1. Yeah. So if these are 3, then it's 1, 2. This is kind of going with the 3 over here on the left. If this is 1, then these are 5. And we need to get 9 out of this, 4 and 5. Guess we could have actually had that right here. Ah, so that's interesting as well. So we can't do the version that's 1 and 5 because, well, I guess we can. 1, 2, 3. This would be sort of like 2, 3, 3, 2. There we go. So we still got our 6 going here. So we've got 3, 1, and 2, or we've got 1, 2, and 3. All good information. It will definitely unravel quickly once we get slightly more detail on that. They keep calling them forks. All right. Directly contradicts full rig in every work tree. Okay. So now it's sort of selling us the Gastown pack. Yeah. Sparse checkouts. That's interesting. I haven't used this feature in Git, but it makes sense what it's doing and why. Yeah. We've got a lot of ideas floating around. Partially my fault, I suppose. Um, all right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think these are all good points. Um, Number one is like, don't reinvent the wheel. If we already have this kind of problem being solved in Gastown and a lot of people using it, relatively speaking, then shouldn't we just adopt this and sort of move on with life? So let's It's doing that naming thing again. Fork A. I'm in favor. I'm in favor of the recommendation. We can, as written, I'm biased toward not reinventing that wheel, using the community standard tooling that we find in Gastown. As noted earlier, we probably want to either base a local pack on the example that is regularly getting updated in the Gas City repo, or find a way to reference it canonically. Okay. Find a way to reference it canonically. Either way, let's adopt the technology without needing to maintain it. Without needing to own it. Okay. Fork B. I'm in favor of sparse checkouts, as long as we feel it's reliable for the current shape of the two-door repo. I might also, or incremental rig, as I mentioned. I also want to refactor, in which case it would be more natural for a worker to check out a branch, refactor into institution versus services, in which case it would be more natural for a worker to check out a branch of a service and write its institutional feedback separately. I'm not going to say institution. I'm going to keep using the vocabulary word that we invented. And write its department lessons separately from its proposed production changes. It seems like there would be less collisions in that sense, but also that the service, like catalog, would be made to allow knowledge to would be made with an API that can support data-driven functionality instead of a lot of branching and merging. e.g., a CRUD interface. Okay. Because the surface area is just smaller. Okay. I feel like I should be answering all of these issues too, which is it seems like this is kind of the same. I'm going to leave this alone. Um, this is like two of the same worker writing the department at once. Along these lines, maybe we should structure department knowledge bases as a service instead of doing a bunch of branching and merging again. But this might also be moot if we adopt flywheel memories and reflections, because those might follow their own pattern. Data store. Okay, hopefully that's not too confusing, but it's sort of like we're dancing in between these different worlds where we refactor a bunch of stuff or we follow this pattern or that pattern. Um, we're trying to clean all of this up, make it look a little bit more normal than writing our precious knowledge into .md files. And I think another way to think about this is what is the desire paths design for us to do knowledge bases for departments? What's going to come naturally to the agents? What if you have a bunch of agents learning lessons and collecting knowledge all at the same time? What's the right sort of grain for that to happen at? Like, to me, where my mind goes is sort of a transactional thing, you know. When I first read about the subjective databases, I was sort of lucky. I ran into a little book called Database in Depth, and it talks about essentially that databases are built on top of a sort of, you could say again, like we've been saying for all of our puzzles, a mathematical formalism, right? Set theory. And when we deviate from set theory, we're not just um, you know doing stuff in a sort of a more fun, not invented here sort of way. We might also be breaking the formalism, right? And I'm sort of starting to get that feeling again, you know, like we're trying to sort of reinvent wheels by saying, knowledge base updates should be performed by an ACID database. When we structure a lot of our knowledge as like wikis or documents or hypertext, these aren't the wheels that you want to reinvent. See, we're adopting Gastown's patterns, but are we just running their formulas or not? Um, okay. All right. Let's see what it's giving us. And certainly my brain is sort of overheating too a little bit at this point. Services owned long term. Don't design it if flywheel lands first. It's fine. Um, I think from the point of view of experimentation, we should just try this. We should just see if it gets smoothly adopted into the kind of when you're done with your work, then do some reflection and store some lessons inside a flywheel. Yeah, that's good. Good. You're fine. Claude's doing fine. Can you look at my session? No. All right. Yeah, absolutely. I press the Y key. Okay. Um 14, 30. All of this has to be 15. That seems kind of wild. It means these numbers have to be pretty low. But we don't have that sort of last killer reference to. We said this was going to be 10, 12, and 8. Um, that might be enough info to just stick these here, here, and here. So this sum right here is anywhere from 3 to 6. So the sum of these two is anywhere from 4 to 9. So what can we need to have at last here? Uh, we can't get an 8 in here, right? So these can't add up to 4. We can't pick 1, 2, and 1. Right? We have to pick higher numbers. The highest we can get out of these things is 9. So we have to get at least a 3 here. So I think this would be 3, 4, or 5. That's interesting. So these two numbers, these three numbers, sum from anywhere from 7 to 14. So we don't get a constraint on this square right here. It could be anywhere from 1 through 5, right? If this is 1, then we could do 5, 5, 1, and we'll just barely squeak in there. Or 5, 4, 2, or something like that. We already did that one. 18 and 18. Yeah, we already did this one. 16 and 14 makes 30. So this square, this square, this square, this square make 15. Not super enlightening. We were doing the sideways ones, right? Hadn't gotten super far on that. 12, 28. So 17 out of this square and all of this. So these three together, it's anywhere from 8 to 11. So these are anywhere from 4 to 7. Not a whole lot to that locks that down. So the sum of these two is anywhere from 13 to 16. This would be anywhere from 2 to 5. I guess it can't be 1. That's something. That's information. Eighteen and 14 makes 32. These four have to add up to 13. Let's try to go get the flywheel pack. We can double check how this is laid out in disk, but we've sort of got Gas County packs. We've got a copy of the Gas City packs right here at a certain time. We could store it in Gas County packs flywheel. So I'm not a huge fan of the puzzles where I'm writing tons of notes in the bottom. Or maybe it's just an artifact of not doing it on a piece of paper. And maybe I should figure that out. Like, I do have a tablet that I can use a pen on. That might make these actually fun to do because, I could potentially erase stuff and so on. This column, 20 and 17, that makes 37. So across these three, we've got to do 8. I know that we made this observation a long time ago. If this is a 5, then these are 1 and 2. This would have to be 4. And then we'd have 3 and 5 for both of these ends. If this were a 4 and this were a 5, then we couldn't have this 3 down here. It would be a 1, and then this would be a 2. If this were a 4 and this were a 3, then this would have to be a 1 down here, and this would have to be a 4. So this world actually implies, and that doesn't work because we'd have 2 4s right here. This world actually implies 4, 5, 1, 2. Okay, that's if this is a 5. If this is a 3, then these things add up to 5, and the picture is like more murky. Actually, that world's not possible because this is 3 or 5. If this were 5 and 4, then 3 or 5, this would take us to 12 or 14, and then we'd be way over with whatever this last number is. So this is actually not work. This can't be 5. It has to be a 3. And this has to be a 5. Interesting stuff. This has to be a 3. This has to be a 3. I'm going to start like trying the eraser here. I think that's correct reasoning as far as it goes. Okay. These would add up to 10. Oh yeah, we need to be in the world of 1, 2, and 2, 1 here. Yeah. Very messy. Love to have a real eraser. Yeah, okay, good. Okay. We skipped cast the session search. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's import at least CM and try to get it working. I guess this would be into the incremental pack agents. If we can translate the department knowledge function into being implemented in terms of taking our flywheel pack as a dependency. All right. Not trying to look at the answer there, sorry. Definitely can't fit the 5 in there. Could still be here. If the 5 was here, then this would have to be 1 and 1. That would imply this was 2 and this was 4. And then this would also be 2. This would be 3. This would be 1 and 5 in some order. And then we have to get to 8. That would require 5 and 3 over here. It is a 2, right? So that would be 1 and 4 right here. And we need to get 7 out of this. I guess I didn't notice before that this would have to add this. Oops. 6. Because 12 and 18 right here. That means that these two have to add up to 7, which actually is not possible to do with a 1 here. I see. It's erasing to transparent, isn't it? Not erasing to white. I don't know how to fix that. That's okay though. These are 1 and 5. Also 1 and 5. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all required. This is the weird thing about this kind of puzzle too, which is that you drew conclusions a long time ago, and you're depending on your previous self to be right. And everything that you do next hinges on everything that's come before. Okay. It's okay, I think, if we want to run cast memory. Um, Today at agent intake, read this department. Sure. Install now, it's fine. Where do I see M in it? This is the suggested prompt. I'm not sure why there are so many different copies of this. I know this guy by reputation. I found a bees viewer from this person earlier. I'm not seeing exactly the same installation instructions that we had, which is wigging me a little bit. Pip install cast memories. Very rude. I really want to know what's going to happen when I run this command. Is it going to be local? We can just brew install the one from Dicklesworth Stone. I'm willing to just take a punt on this. That's fine. I've been talking about this for like a long time. We should try it. Like it seems very in line with our ideas. Okay. And I guess what I'm thinking is that the I guess I need to trust all of these. I'm not sure what it's going to do. Let's look into this while we have a minute. Because I think this is all new. Prefer trusting a specific formula. Trust a whole tap when you're comfortable with all current and future. Huh. A rootless sandbox. I think that would be appropriate. What? Really? Okay, maybe it's from DuckDuckGo. I think I understand this, but we're getting into stuff that I really non-root users can't mess with them. We could turn it on in a single session. We could add this to startup. We could change this. Oops. I keep thinking that I have LRU. Not that it would have worked. I'm okay with this one. Let's try that again. Initialize repo level.cast directory structure. I guess this is where we would want to put it in our city. I don't think that we want this. Okay, we need to install CAS. Some features will not work. Let's go get it. Oh, this is the same guy. Gotcha. Okay, here we go. Go. Let's just go nuts. That's weird. Maybe it, I saw it download twice. That was kind of weird. I don't know why this would be happening, obviously. We could pull back to 12, I guess. Hmm. Let's try at. Somewhat annoying. Huh. I guess we've got plan B, which is run the canonical installation like so. I wish it didn't have both of these in the same script block. Then I've got to do a little fancy dancing here. Don't need. Go. All right. again, we're sort of taking a leap here. So it's going to look at all of our Claude conversations, presumably index them, and make that available to all of the memory system, including this. I don't, know. Okay. I'm going to come back here. I am good with experimenting with this system. I installed CM and CAS executables, but I didn't take it further than that. Good with antiquarian. Good with putting this server in systemd. We can remove it later. I think the shadow mode parallel writes. It's good. Experimentation. I think we should put this in incremental for now, but we might have us to put it in the city later or concierge, or to replace the other memory system we are using. So what I'm hoping it's going to do, speaking, oh, I'm about to break my chess practice streak. I should take care of that. What I'm hoping it's going to do is start running this server for me. Right, this one right here. And then, yeah, add in some prompting for my antiquarian. And then hopefully we'll get it going. But I guess we'll leave it on this cliffhanger. Hope this is fun for you to watch me slowly trudging my way through to this goal, this finish line. But yeah, I guess this is what we're doing now. This is our life now. So thanks for watching and see you again soon.